I just how's it going, man? It's been a little while.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How about you?
That's pretty good. Oh, I hear Madhu
Nice.
barking in the background. Hopefully you guys can't hear him. He's like, "Who are you talking to?" uh, he's like, "You're supposed to be hanging out with me." Let's just jump right into your portfolio.
Okay.
Let's see here. Just the little bottom stinger here. So Sebastian up
hmm
first here. How you doing, man? Would you like to introduce yourself? I know there's a lot of people in chat that know who you are, but
Yeah, I'm Sebastian from Germany. Um, Currently at an internship at Gentimed Studios as an environmental pop artist. So
yeah, you're there as a prop artist, you said.
yeah, environment and pop artist.
Nice. How are you liking it?
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Greatest experience ever. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's so good to hear, man. Yeah, it's been a lead up to this moment, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Um so we've got four scenes. It looks like you've cleaned up your portfolio since I last looked at it
Yeah, just a bit.
just a bit. And you're a Unity user, which is usually like, what? But then like
Unity.
your work's quite good, man.
Thank you.
Um should we start with like your AC unit? This
Yeah,
one's
maybe.
4 months
Yeah.
ago. So
Yeah.
this one, I like this one quite a bit, mainly because you're telling so much story in the way that it's textured. Oh,
mhm.
maybe I should
Yeah, it
link this in
was it
chat.
was just uh for practicing. So was I made this within 3 weeks or something.
Mm,
So was really cool prop to design and texture.
right. So you're just working on like trying to really get the materials to come across.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this turned out really good. I guess I think the only thing I would say about it that I could like would possibly push it further is just more contrast in the differences between the material roughness.
hmm
You know me and roughness variation.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
we should make a shirt of that or something. Uh, but no, it turned out pretty cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can see here in your like I guess channel slice image
hmm
just where the ranges are at, and they're all quite close together. I guess the
Yeah,
sticker is probably more reflective than most of the.
yeah. Just a tiny bit, not that much.
Yeah, as you see it a little bit when it rotates here. But yeah, I mean, I think pushing those elements out a little bit will do a whole lot. But cool. Yeah, and then next we had this pressure regulator.
hmm Yeah, I found this little guy at my recent job, and I thought about could be really cool to model this to get more into hard surface and
Yeah, it
this
looks like.
was uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
that was much easier to do. I made this within the weekend, like 20 hours or something. I wrote it down in the description. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. Is this like, okay? So when we're looking at all these elements, because a lot of people when they're working on hard surface are looking at these, like you have round elements into other round elements and where they meet.
hmm
How are you approaching it? Is that like Boolean and
No,
then just cleaning up the geometry, or?
I tried Boolean first, but
Mm,
I don't know. It's went it was a mess overall. So no
yeah.
Boolean for me. Just doing it one polygon by polygon. So yeah.
Holy cow! I mean, that's one way to learn how to go for it. Um, yeah, because I have something similar on my portfolio. Oh yeah, I can see now based on like how you're. Oh my gosh! So you even subd.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's pretty hardcore. What I would usually do, because I cut so many corners, is I make the low poly and then uh weld it, like duplicate it to weld it together, like
hmm
which is booleans, and then like then take the what would be the high poly into ZBrush, dynamesh it all together, and just start smoothing where they meet. until it hits
Okay.
the softness that I'm looking for, and then that's
Yeah.
my high poly, and I bake it over. So it's super lazy because I just don't want to deal with like edge loops and sub D modeling. But I mean, this one turned out pretty cool. I think I guess the reference isn't in here, but
No.
was there
I
any
post.
material differences that are between, like, because I see there's the little knob and then the this other bolt facet thing on the side here, and then
Mm,
the bottom piece look like different types of metal.
yes.
Is that
It's
is that where it was
yeah.
only different?
That was the only difference in material. Yeah.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
posted those reference pictures before I started modeling this in general chat in
yeah.
Discord.
Oh man,
But yeah,
that was 4 months ago. There's no way I'm gonna find that.
no, not really.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to like when you look at it from the back, which is I guess usually where you wouldn't really see this
Mhm.
type of element. The edges here are probably the thing that sticks out to me, where like where it's quite sharp, and if you beveled that
Oh
in your
yeah,
high poly, it
yeah. I
probably would
see.
have
Yeah,
saved that a little bit.
a bit too sharp. Yeah.
Just a hair, just a hair too sharp. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it looks pretty cool.
Thank you.
Let's see here, and dude, I remember this scene
Yeah, my
forever.
first one.
Yeah, did and the fact that you're like, oh yeah, I want it to have this look, and I'm like, can you do that in Unity? I don't even know if you can do that in Unity, and you were just slowly chipping away at it.
Yeah, it took me some time. So yeah.
Yeah, this scene turned out quite good, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of it is because it's got that atmosphere to it,
Mm.
and yeah, polygon puddles. Yeah, with puddles, it's really interesting because you can go with like you tend to get an oily look if you have texture to the puddle.
Yeah.
And then if it's much smoother, then it tends to give you like a. Here, I'm gonna push my camera off here. It gives you a bit of a more of like a puddle look, right? Because puddles tend to be have some depth to them, and when
Mm.
they have that depth, it's very it smooths out those surface details. But I don't know if like the way you were applying the puddles, if that
It's just a decal
it's just a
with
decal.
yeah. Mm, I think I just decreased the roughness and that's it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't do any like an albedo shift or anything like that?
No.
Interesting, dude. It looks like there's an albedo shift. That's super
Oh.
interesting because it looks darker, right? But I guess like these other splotches and stuff that you've decaled onto the ground are also kind of in that same vein where they're just kind of there to break up the surface.
Hmm. Just to break up. And you see how I started that environment. Yeah.
And I remember all of these iterations. I'm like, why is there smoke in the back there? Is it supposed to be like scary, or is it like was there a fire, a recent explosion? And I remember at one point you wanted to blow this wall out or like have like a forklift like smash
Yeah.
into it or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I started. I wanted to do a forklift, but I failed, kinda. So yeah. So I went for some free ones, but
Mm,
they didn't fit in there. So yeah, I scrapped that idea.
yeah. Did you end up making all of this?
Yeah, everything.
Crazy, man. Is what else was I gonna ask you? So you made the graffiti as well.
Mm-hmm. That was a pain.
It was a pain.
Yeah. Uh, I searched for some graffitis at textures.com
Hmm.
and then brought them into GIMP and just masked them out. So yeah, it took me like 4 or 5 hours for all of these.
Wait, did you say GIMP?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Did you use Photoshop for this at all?
No, never used Photoshop. Only the free packages.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh man, that's great, man. Uh, did you end up making the bricks in Designer yourself, or did you go online and find that?
Those white bricks, I I've done an Alchemist and
Hmm.
those wet bricks in Designer.
Nice. Chat's like Sebastian literally cuts that stuff by hand. It's like alpha cutout. It's like the kids cutting out like little star shapes on
Yo.
paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the overall breakup of the scene and the detail that you went for, like on this tarp and stuff, is quite nice, and it's breaking up quite well.
Mhm.
I think the attention to detail with the graffiti and especially the all of the decals that you used is exactly how you break up these large surfaces, because when you have these large surfaces, it
Yeah.
becomes really easy for it to just look like a block out.
Boring.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, huh, okay, now what? What do I do here?
Just a plain white wall. Yeah.
Yeah, and adding these support pillars and especially detailing things on the ceiling, just to like, it's so easy for the ceiling to become boring.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you don't like about this piece?
The wet bricks, or especially the white side and the windows.
Oh, you don't
It's
like the windows?
no. Mm-mm. It's not cool.
Man, I didn't even notice the windows until you mentioned it. I mean, I think they're fine. Let's see if there's any other angles of it. Is it just the way they're broken?
I think the overall look at from the wall on the white side is
Yeah,
no.
it's like you were paying more attention to the left side.
Yeah, kind of
I mean, I guess the
could be
main
better.
difference is because it's a darker brick. You're gonna get these decals just aren't gonna pop the same way.
Hmm.
So it can look like you're not getting the information or the fidelity that you're getting on the left side.
Yeah.
I think at that point, it's really funny because at that point you could actually use the same uh like decals, but make
Hmm.
like a lighter version of it.
Just bring them over to the white side.
Yeah, yeah. Because then it's kind of like a chalky effect that occurs on darker brick, um, and that might do it. I think some of the stuff that I'm noticing is, I think it's mainly the paper on the ground. I think that's
Nah.
paper.
Yeah,
It's
it's
quite
paper.
it's quite small, so like
Hmm.
scale wise, it doesn't really feel like I don't know. Maybe I need some other elements that show the size. Like that doorknob kind of helps with the scale of this, but I don't know the size of some of the space, right? I kind of know how big the pallets are, but I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to scale, everything looks pretty locked in with each other, but then the paper sticks out. And I guess it's just because there isn't anything near it that I can relate to scale wise.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this is 8 months old, so we'll move on from that. And then your last scene actually is pretty crazy because like I saw you working on this, and then you wanted to like, you're like, oh yeah, I just want to finish it up now. But you had this list of stuff that you wanted to get through,
Yeah.
and it just, that list. I mean, I'm sure everyone can relate. That list just feels endless at some point.
It kept going and going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, and then you see things that you're like, oh man, I should add that, and this would look much better if I did this thing, and which
Yes.
requires another asset. And I mean, dude, it's got the mood. Fuzel and I right now are actually going through and watching all the Resident Evil playthroughs on YouTube, and this has got that creepy vibe of I think it's 7. It's got the Resident
Okay.
Evil
Yeah.
7 feels.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah,
And
your attention to detail in here is also really good. Yeah, go ahead.
maybe at this shot above, if you
This
look at
this one.
the left side, uh,
Yes.
yeah, maybe I should reduce the normal informations on the bottom part there. You see
Oh,
the
you're talking about on the floorboard here.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
mean
a
I
bit
would.
too much.
What is that coming from? Is that just the
That's in decal.
floorboard normal?
Yeah, no, it's just in decal. I
Oh,
applied
oh man.
and
Okay,
gave it
so
some
okay,
roughness and normal information. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. I guess when it comes to decals, a lot of the times, unless you need it to be quite thick looking, I usually don't even apply a normal to decals. But yeah, this is this one I actually really like how it turned out. It kept getting better and better as you kept going, and just the amount of details that you ended up adding in to try and storytell how the surfaces are working. Oh, that's actually a floating. Is that like just a floating mesh?
It's just a decal, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Did you use it anywhere else? Like, it looks like
uh,
it's just here.
on the second pillar on the right side, there, on the right side.
Oh yeah,
Uh, no, yeah, yeah, up there in the
so I
corner,
see
at the
this,
corner of the pillar.
and then up here.
It's up there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, dude. This is nice too. You've got the I forget what they call it, but it's kind of like the ghosting behind photos, like when
hmm
frames are hung up for a really long time and the wall is basically unaffected by the elements, or it's affected by the elements in a different way because it's kind of protected.
Yeah, actually, you gave me that idea to add this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you
All
mentioned it
right.
before.
Yeah, it's a really good effect, and it tells the story of surfaces, and because like it's not just about like texturing a scene and then trying to tell a story with the propping. It's like the materials can tell the story as well, right?
Mm.
So with the, I mean, you probably can't talk too much about. Ooh, this is a really nice breakdown of your assets. Um, you probably can't talk too much about what you're working on now, but you're saying you're a props and environment artist.
hmm
Is there is there anything that you feel like? Oh man, the ground down here is just so. It's got that texture, you know. You'd run your hand across it and then have to go to the doctor because you probably need to get a tetanus shot or something. Uh, but is there anything that you're like wanting to push yourself on now as far as like weaknesses and current, I guess, current developments? You're probably getting pushed pretty hard just doing your internship.
Currently at the internship, we are mostly doing low poly stuff. So
Mm,
yeah, most of the stuff I'm used to do, like using mask maps, etc. Or not even mask maps, like doing bevels or everything. That's not necessary at the current internship. So yeah,
mm,
so I have to pay more attention to save some polygons here and there, and handle most of the details over the texture. Yeah. So
nice.
it's pretty cool to yeah learn some more about texturing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different when you have like a team and you're like everyone's kind of going towards a goal, and then you have people constantly giving feedback on the direction of everything.
hmm Yep.
Let's see what there was. I think it was in this GIF. Is just like another really good illustration of like what happens when you start to add information to the ceiling. Like once you added like that extra like crown, like in the States we call it crown molding. I don't know what it's called everywhere else, but the
Uh,
you add that extra edge detail along the ceiling panels, really pops the ceiling out, which is nice. Yeah, it's
yeah,
that
it was
face right there.
was kind of I don't know. It took me 2 or 3 times to create this seating
Hmm.
because yeah, I never was really pleased with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it because ceiling. It's weird. It's like oh my god, my comment is like right here. It's really interesting when you see like, so you have a really basic ceiling, and then when you realize it's really simple and you want to push on it, you can't really like you can't really just do that. You have to like understand what ceilings usually look like. It's like
Mhm.
that part of the hallway and rooms that we know what they look like, but only in our peripheral. So when it looks wrong, it just looks wrong, but we don't know why. It's like you have to learn like how ceilings are put together and like if pillars are there and how old, like what style of building it is and the ceiling types and
Yeah. that was kind of difficult to find some good references.
Mm.
But yeah, in the end, I got some really nice ones. I tried to replicate, and I think I doing
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah, it looks really good. The final ceiling is solid. Um, I was gonna ask you something else. Is the so you're working and now it's like, okay, you're learning quite a bit there. Do you feel like you have the room to work on anything personal at home, or are you pretty like out of energy by the time you get there?
I started Friday creating an vintage coffee grinder. Worked on it over the weekend, but yeah, I haven't worked on it till Sunday,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, no,
kind
I
of lazy.
you have to, yeah, and don't, just make sure not to beat yourself up over that type of stuff, because it's
Yeah,
so easy to just be
I'm
like,
fine.
well, I'm supposed to be able to do this stuff in my free time. It's like, well, if you're doing it all day, low poly or not, it takes up a certain part of your brain's capacity for what you
Mm.
can do that day.
But it's really fun to create some high poly meshes right now because
Yeah.
I'm very limited with poly count at the studio. So yeah.
So is the idea to just make a lot of high poly stuff,
Excuse me?
or is the idea at home to just make a lot of like high poly modeling
Yeah.
just to like work on that?
No, not a weird idea. Just do some high poly, then create a low poly out of it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have so we're at like 20-ish minutes, 21 minutes. Do you have any questions or like things you're curious about? I mean, I feel like we talk often, so it's almost like we're having a conversation that's not really a portfolio review.
um, let's say I wrote an application to Massive,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the your recruiter, and you got this portfolio and a decent CV resume at your
Mm-hmm.
table. Would you throw it in the bin or be
Is
honest?
is it for a junior or like a mid level position?
Yeah, no, just junior.
A junior? This would probably get you an interview if there was a junior position,
Okay.
because it's the amount of detail that you're putting into your scenes. Uh, there's a lot of storytelling and there's a nice balance to composition. It's like your portfolio is kind of small, but
Yeah, no, I need
I
to
mean,
do a new
yeah.
environment. I'm feeling guilty.
Oh man, don't feel guilty about that stuff. It comes with time, right? You can't rush that stuff.
Yeah.
But do you have an idea for another scene?
Not really. I tried to get like an yeah um industrial thing again,
Hmm.
but with an torture with some torture elements in it. But yeah,
Oh, interesting.
I I have no real idea, so I've stopped it yet
Yeah,
till
yeah.
I get some clearer ideas what to add and what not. So
That's a spicy element to get into,
yeah.
because the amount of research involved in that type of stuff is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I wonder.
But you haven't mentioned
Hmm?
my thumbnails yet.
No, actually, so your thumbnails don't bother me.
Good.
Um, I guess with these ones, because they're individual props, I do like that you've zoomed in to like show the elements. I think with the
Mm,
pressure regulator, it feels like it's focusing on a weird spot.
okay. It was hard to find a interesting looking spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if I just print screen. I think if it was maybe if it was something like this area, it's seeing how you're welding all that stuff together.
Mm,
That that's quite interesting to me. And I think what you have in here is showing like the absence of connection. Like there is
yeah.
connection, but it feels like you're focusing on an area that's quite flat and just has a bolt on the top, right? So I think
Yeah.
if you just framed it a little bit
The bolt.
more, yeah. I mean, it could even be like, because you're seeing it from such a side view, that if you were to do it this way, I mean, even this angle would be, you're showing the same bolt, but now you're showing the top, and then you're seeing all the connections and then all the weld lines. It'll make someone more curious to see what it is, even like this spot here, because now you're like, okay, what does the rest
What
of this
is
look
this?
like? Yeah,
Yeah.
because you see all the connections, you see the quality and like how everything's welded together and the material, that kind of draws you in to want to see more.
Okay.
And then I think that would align with kind of how you've done the AC unit. I almost feel like this bottom corner area would be interesting.
Yeah, I tried it. It wasn't so
No,
interesting.
yeah.
No.
Let's see. Yeah, because this area right here with all the grading, I think was a good call, because you see the sticker, you see the rust, how the wiring is set up, all of those details. Yeah, I don't really have and your icons are small enough that they don't really get in the way.
Yeah, I try to keep
Mm.
them consistent. So yeah.
There's a bit of a darkening that's happening around these two frames that doesn't happen on these
Yes.
ones. Is there a reason you don't do it on these two? Is it just because they're older, or? I mean, I think this one's older than these two, right?
I just doing that vignette at my environment, not on the
Mm,
props. So yeah.
nice. Yeah, I mean, I think you could do it on these just for the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And then in chat, they're asking if it's important for icons to have these icons. I personally, I don't think it's important. A lot of people that have very few followers feel like it's important to have them, because people won't click on there's this assumption that people won't click on the profile if they don't see an Unreal logo, which is, I don't know. I don't believe that. If it looks really cool, they're going to click on it, man. That's
Yeah.
just how it works.
Doesn't matter if it's Unity, CryEngine, or
Mm,
Unreal or whatever.
yeah. But I mean, with the size that you have the icons, it actually is pretty good, because it's not intrusive. It's
Mm-hmm.
still, I can still see what you're going to be demoing, whatever it is. And then also, like when I mouse over these, the icon never really gets clipped with
Yeah,
any of
same.
the text, which
Never.
is kind of nice.
Haven't seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah, usually you see that. What else is really interesting? If there's a way to lessen the amount of text, you'll get the
Yeah.
text in one line, and then you get this kind of layout, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But not always easy to
Yeah.
keep the title short. But no, this is cool, man. Do you have any other questions before we jump out of here?
No, not really. I'm
Oh,
fine.
really?
Yeah.
I want to know what that next scene's gonna be. No pressure. You
Yeah.
can tell me when you're ready.
Do it.
Make it now.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
cool, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing this, and it's good to chat with you again.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
If you have anything you need me to look at, just poke me. I feel like you didn't really get too much of a portfolio review other than your thumbnails.
Yeah, I'm
It's a
gonna do
solid
that.
portfolio, man.
Thanks.
It just needs another
Appreciate that.
scene.
Yeah, no.
It'll come.
Yeah,
But
sometime.
cool. All right, I guess we'll talk to you later then.
Okay.
I say we, like the chat can say stuff in the mic, but they're
Thanks for having
saying
me,
hello.
Jeremy.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your portfolio.
So,
I'll talk to you later.
yep. See ya.
All right, bye.